Hi, this is Lori from GLP-1 Journey in Review. Today, I'm doing a video in my interview series where we talk to people about their weight loss journey. Today, we have with us Amy, who is on a GLP-1 medication. She's also a content creator. I want to remind everybody that I am not a healthcare provider. My guest is not a healthcare provider. We're just talking about what works for us. If you find this information useful at all, please hit that like button. Please make a comment. Please subscribe. Then go over to Amy's channel and do the same. All of Amy's information will be linked down below in the description. You'll be able to find it there. If you are planning a weight loss journey, I strongly advise that you see a healthcare provider. All that being said, Amy, why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
Sure. Well, hi, my name is Amy, and I have a YouTube channel called Amy Loses It. Really, the premise is let's see if I'm going to lose my mind before I lose all my weight, because, honestly, like weight loss journey is a real struggle for me and makes me crazy. I've had I've had my fair share of breakdowns trying to lose weight over the years, and I just thought I'd bring a little humor to it as well. And, let's see if we can get this done with this medication and get the weight off my body and out of my life. And, it's not as easy as divorcing my ex-husband, that's for sure. So, he's out the door. I can't just wish the file paperwork and get rid of the weight. But let's
Which
see. So
which medication are you on?
I'm currently on 10 milligrams of name branded Zepbound from Lilly
Mhm.
Direct because my insurance does not cover it. So even though, like when I started the weight loss journey, my BMI was not even on the chart at the doctor's office. I have severe sleep apnea and possibly Hashimoto's, but none of those apparently qualify for coverage. So uh, here I am paying out of pocket. And actually, next week, my next shot's going to be 7.5 milligrams. I'm finding the 10 is hurting my stomach a little bit. Like I'm getting a little bit too slow motility, I think they call it,
Mhm.
in my stomach. And it's causing too much food aversion for me. So I'm going to try 1 month at 7.5 and see how that goes.
So when did you start and how much weight have you lost so far?
So I started January 1st, 2025. And
Mm.
to date, as of this morning, I haven't put it out on my channel yet, but as a sneak peek,
Dish,
40
dish.
pounds. Yeah, 40 pounds exactly this morning. I actually I actually got on the scale like 5 times because I'm like, it didn't just say that, did it? Because it'd been like 3 pounds higher all this week. And so when I got on the scale and it was exactly 40 pounds down, I'm like, oh, like really? Like that happened? So yeah.
That's
So,
great.
because sometimes like when you are a person who just cannot lose weight, no matter how hard you try, like you feel this it's a really hard feeling to describe, but you get on the scale and you just feel like it's going to be taken away from you. Like that victory of losing weight, it's
Mhm.
never constant. Like when you're not on the medication, right? It'll go down and down and then it'll stop and then it'll never go back down again. It'll then start going back up. But on the medication, I go down and I go up and I go down more and then I go up a little and then I go down more. So I just felt like, oh, someone's going to come and steal that victory from me, right? Like it's so hard to believe that, oh, I made it to 40 pounds and it's going to stay off and it's going to keep working. So I think that's like a mindset issue that people who are overweight and have really struggled, uh, really like suffer, or at least I suffer from. I don't know if other people have that struggle as well.
Mm.
Uh,
So what happened before January that made you decide, I'm gonna try to lose weight with the GLP-1 medication?
um, I'd been trying for the couple of years before that to lose weight, and it seemed like I would get 20 30 pounds down, and then I would stall, and then I would have a Hashimoto's episode where I'd put on 30, 40 pounds in a month, right? And then it immediately stops because that's the way Hashimoto's works, right? You just
Do you
pack
want to
on.
explain Hashimoto's a little bit to us?
So I'm not too familiar with it, but from my understanding, it's an autoimmune disorder that causes
Hmm.
like your thyroid to go out of whack. And I have like a really large nodule on my thyroid. They're not sure if that's connected because the testing on that didn't come back. And that's the problem with Hashimoto's is you have to be in an episode in order for them to pick it up. Right? Like you can test and test and test and test till the cows come home, and all of your tests will always be normal until the one time you catch it when your hormones have gone out of whack. Now, I have gone through a couple of periods where I have lost like 5 or 10 pounds in a month
Hmm.
for no reason. But I've had like four big episodes in my life where I've put on 30 to 40 pounds in a month for no reason at all. And so I did that when I was trying to lose weight for a vacation in Switzerland. I was taking a 9-day train trip all around Switzerland by myself. And of course, that didn't go as well as I needed it to because I just put on a whole bunch of weight. And then I got to January of 2025, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't really have much family left. I'm divorced. If I get injured or sick or need help, who's going to help me? I was getting to the point that I was losing mobility. I was struggling showering myself, struggling with, you know, clipping my toenails. I mean, it seems silly, but like putting lotion on my feet, putting socks on. I couldn't put tennis shoes on that needed to be tied without like a huge struggle. So just basic things in life that I was struggling to do for myself because I'd gotten up to 304 pounds at that point. And while that's not like an enormous weight, but for somebody who's only 5 foot tall, that's like being 500 pounds for someone that's like
Hmm.
5'6" to 5'8". So I just really woke up and said, okay, well, my white knight, my easy button, they haven't appeared, and apparently they're not going to show up. And if I don't do this for myself, like I'm never going to get anywhere. Because I was really struggling with the like poor me. Like I just so badly wanted someone to help me do things in life because I had a really rough marriage where, I got married really young to somebody who is what did they call it? Pathological narcissist that only got worse over
Hmm.
time, who just expected me to be maid and servant and housekeeper, but still maintain a full-time job or full-time school and a job outside of doing everything. So by the time that I'm like in my 50s, I just wanted someone to care for me and do things for me, but I realized it's not going to happen. And if it does, maybe years from now, that would be fabulous, but I was just wasting my life not taking care of myself, and that's what it came down to, because I have a relative that, sorry, I do have a fly in here, so if you see a cat go flying or a fly go flying, it just came in, like, right before I picked up the phone, so I may get startled because the cats are flying, but,
No
I have a
problem.
relative. Yeah, I have a relative that I feel so bad because I want her to be able to visit. I want her to be able to do things. I want her to be able to live her life, but because she didn't take care of her health when she was in her 50s, it just snowballed. Now, she wasn't as overweight as I am, but she developed diabetes, which is luckily something that I do not struggle with, which is a blessing that I've never been pre-diabetic or diabetic. So that's an absolute blessing, but
Hmm.
it just kinda destroyed her life, and I was just lying there in bed, the early parts of January going, "I can't do this anymore." Like, I wanna be out there doing the things that all these cruise YouTubers are doing and all these travel YouTubers are doing, and, like, because I canceled my cable and all I watch is YouTube, so I'm like, I wanna
Hmm.
do those things, and I can't do those things if I'm like the way I am, and I just had a reality check of nothing was going to change unless I figured out how to change it. So I did do dieting alone for the first month and a half, and I lost 10 pounds, but that was all like the initial water weight, right? When
Mm-hmm.
you like really cut back on everything and be really stringent, you just lose that initial water weight. But then as I got closer to like month and a half mark, then I started, putting a couple pounds back on again, and I was so incredibly frustrated. So I went to the doctor and I got the runaround from a couple of doctors, got the runaround from my insurance and all this rigmarole. And finally, uh, I just ended up having to get compounded. So I started with,
Mm-hmm.
what did I start with? Mochi. So I started with mochi compounded, but I have some weird food allergies. So I did suffer a little bit with their compounding because I think it may have contained a little bit of my allergen. Like I'm allergic to corn, which is a very common ingredient. It's Corn is used in so many things, right? They pull it out like vitamins out of it, and it's used in like xanthan gum as thickeners and cornstarch and all this other stuff. So I have to be really careful. So I did struggle with their medication. I really didn't lose much at all when I was using the mochi. It was less than a pound a week. But I was being really strict on my diet, right? I was doing all of the things, using the Noom app
Mm-hmm.
and really counting my calories and getting my exercise. So I finally went to an endocrinologist again, and she redid all my testing. And then she's like, well, you know, as your last endocrinologist said, I really think you probably do have Hashimoto's, but catching it and getting an official diagnosis is going to be really difficult. But here, let's start you on Lilly Direct. And I actually happened to run into a rep in their office when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I did talk to someone directly from Lilly when I was in the office, and started on that journey and haven't looked back.
So you never considered like semaglutide, just tirzepatide the whole way?
Only tirzepatide, because once I did more research and realized that the semaglutide was missing the GIP component, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is what I really needed. Because actually, I'm still kind of struggling on the tirzepatide. I think I'm really going to need like that next one up. That's uh,
Retatrutide?
retatrutide. I think I'm really going to need that one. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I know it's going to be a while, but I'm excited for that one coming out because I really think my problem is the brain, like the brain receptor issue and the set point problem. So I don't know, uh, did you happen to watch that Oprah interview where she interviewed the Yale doctor that does all the research on the
Mm-hmm.
medications? Yeah. So, like, when she was talking about how, like, my body just says it needs to be, say, at 300 pounds, and no matter what I'm going to do, it's not going to go under 300 pounds. So, I think that's my problem is my body picks a weight. And no matter how well I eat, no matter how much I exercise, I can't get within 10 pounds of that weight. So so I've been at this struggle since, I was 18, 19, 20 years old. So I wasn't overweight as a child, even though my dad thought I was. So he always had me on a diet for some weird reason. Like, I look back at pictures and I'm like, there's nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with me, but he was just obsessed with weight because he was overweight. So he always had me on a diet. Um, it was really weird. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Common, more
so
common than you think.
yeah, it's crazy. And then when I lived with my mother, unfortunately, my mother was very poor and aff- couldn't always afford food for us kids. And then with my food allergies as a kid, like I couldn't have milk. So, like, if the food banks, especially like wherever you go to get the food stamps in like the government, where the government gives out like the food, they give a lot of dairy products. And so, like, my brothers would be able to eat all of that stuff, all of the cheese and the milk and everything that they gave. But then, like, there was a whole portion of the food group that like I couldn't eat. So then not only did we not really have enough money, but then like then there was a whole section of food that I couldn't eat. So, that kind of makes you feel like you're left out and like you're always searching for something, right? You never feel
Mhm.
like you get enough because you're kind of being left behind. So that was a bit of a struggle. But as an adult, uh, when I became an adult and got a job and could afford to buy myself food, well, that's where the trouble started, right? Because I couldn't regulate my body then at that point is like, oh, well, we need this food and we're never going to let go of those calories that you're putting into your body because you were so deprived of calories throughout your childhood that now, like, we're going to put it on and we're never going to take it off. So that's what I struggled with, as a young adult and early 20s and 30s. Like, I was pretty constant on my weight. I managed to keep it right around 180 pounds, which is still overweight, but nowhere near like once you start hitting perimenopause and menopause, and then your
Mhm.
hormones go crazy, and then everything just falls apart from there. So that's kind of that's kind of what
Blame those
happened to me.
hormones.
Oh my gosh. Like, actually last night, I actually funny enough, I think I had like a small Hashimoto's episode last night because I just like I got super, super cold where I just could not get warm no matter what I did. And then I got really nauseous. And then it's like this weird thing. Like, you have this huge hormone dump in your body. And then of course this morning I wake up and I've lost 3 pounds. And I'm like, what? Like, how does that happen? So I'll take that type of Hashimoto's problem any day.
So,
But
so
yeah,
how has your relationship with food changed?
um, I would say, well, really for me, like, my food noise was next level. So cutting out the food noise has really been a game changer. Like, I don't
Mhm.
go to bed thinking about what I'm gonna have tomorrow. I don't wake up thinking about what I'm gonna have during the day. You know what I mean? It was like a 24-hour cycle of thinking about what I needed to eat, especially when you limit your food, and then that just intensifies thinking about what you're not being able to eat and how deprived you feel when you're limited to that little bit of food that you can eat. So I think it has really helped me maintain my healthy eating, which I was a pretty decent eater before because, again, food allergies. I can't have a lot of box things. So my cart at the grocery store is almost all fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh meats. So very few times will I have sauces or canned products or microwave meals or chips or snacks or any of that. Um, but it has made me not be able to eat nearly as much. I went out to my favorite restaurant that I normally do eat a lot of food at, and I went back to it for the first time while on the medication. And I was kind of disappointed because I just got to the point where I just can't put this in my mouth because I just don't want it. And it's almost making me nauseous to put more food in my mouth, if you know what I mean. Like,
Mhm.
um, so it was a bit disappointing because it was an expensive restaurant and I didn't have that much food, but it's just like, oh, there's so many more things on the menu. It's a Japanese barbecue, so it's a lot of little plates of food. So I like to get a
Mhm.
lot of little plates, and I'm like, after 3 plates, I'm like, oh, well, I'm done. So it really has just kind of cut off my relationship from food. Like, at this point, I almost this today I was thinking, oh well, I would just rather have an IV because I don't even want to have to get up and fix my food. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, like I don't even want to have to deal with like cooking or preparing something. And because I can't really eat a lot of microwavable, like prepared stuff, I have to make that myself and put it in the freezer and then microwave my own cooking. I was just like, "Oh, man, could I just, like, have an IV?" Like,
It,
so I
it,
don't
it
have to.
doesn't quite work that way. Yeah.
I know. I think the challenge too is, right, I can't eat the protein bars because they've got whey protein, which is a milk product, right?
Mhm.
I can't, I'm allergic to the whey in the milk, so I can't use the protein powders or the protein bars. Most of the non-whey proteins have corn in them because they usually
Mm.
have some type of corn product. The same with like non-dairy milks. Almost every single one of them had xanthan gum, which is a product of corn. Um, and while it's not like that type of allergen is not life threatening for me, it's very uncomfortable to be itching from head to toe and have hives
Mhm.
from head to toe. So, um, so it makes it difficult. Like there's so many convenience foods that that I just can't consume. Um, so it would be nice to just have an IV and not have to worry about food at all, right? Like just put it out of our minds. Let's lose the weight, worry about food later.
Yeah, and IV only does so much. They'd have to put a NG tube down
Yeah.
and feed you that way, but that's no
Yeah.
fun. But anyhow, what can you eat?
So basically just lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. Like for lunch today, I had, tuna fish, cucumbers and tomatoes and a banana. So, and then I'm able to get pickles that have real sugar in the brine and not corn syrup, right?
Mhm.
Because you think about it, corn syrup's and soda and juices and dressings and this and that. So I just have to watch the products that I get. And it was funny because I made something the other day with capers, and it was the first time I'd had capers in a really long time, and I was so over the moon. I even have a video about me making the fish with the lemon and capers, and then the next day, like 30 minutes after eating it, I was itching from head to toe, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess I guess the capers are going in the trash." So, yeah, so there are a lot of things that I eat, but mainly, I do have a few canned vegetables here or there, but rice, potatoes, um, the normal veggies, grapes, apples, all that good stuff. That's pretty much what I keep on hand. Eggs. Um,
Mhm.
I don't have any problem with meats, which is great, except shellfish. I have a shellfish allergy too, which just and that's part of my Hashimoto's that I started developing other food allergies as I got older. And I found out I had them because I had an anaphylactic reaction to it. So, yeah. And I had been having like digestive issues, and they thought I had listeria from eating shrimp. And then I had a really bad reaction because I had corn and shellfish in the same meal. So I went in and got tested, and they're like, surprise!
Amy, you're really
Congratulations.
making it difficult for yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, that was not that was not what I wanted. So, I feel for people who like I think the hard part because I haven't been dealing with it that long. It's only been about 2 years. And I just feel like such a crazy person sometimes going into a restaurant and have to be so mindful of what I'm eating. And I go on a cruise and they're like, "Oh, well, what are you allergic to?" And I'm like, "Oh, like." So sometimes I'm like really good at spotting things, like, and I can tolerate like, if there's a gravy and it has a little bit of cornstarch, like I can usually like have a little bit of it. I just like can't be like drinking the whole gravy boat, right? So
Mhm.
there's kind of like a spectrum of like how bad it affects me, but I cannot like pick up a fresh corn of cob and start munching on that. That and tortilla chips and will get me every time. Like I have to stay far, far away. But shellfish is pretty easy to eliminate.
Mhm.
So,
So Zepbound has been approved for sleep apnea. Has it helped
mhm.
your sleep apnea at all?
I'm actually really struggling with that because last night was terrible. I was up every 2 hours. And right now it's just allergy season here. I live in Northern Virginia, and there's pollen and more pollen and leaves and mold. So I've been taking my Flonase, trying to get the swelling down in my nasal passages so I could sleep. I think it will really help my sleep apnea when I'm losing weight, right? Because um, I have obstructive sleep apnea, not necessarily 100% related to obesity. So I've had sleep apnea since I was a teenager. So I
Okay.
have a deviated septum. I've always snored, always never have slept through the night. So that's kind of like an ongoing thing that I probably should get fixed. So, once I lose enough weight, I really should go to an ENT and see like what the likelihood of getting that fixed. But losing the weight obviously would take away like the fat deposits around my neck, in my body that like as you sleep, you like you like smush everything together and you close off your airway. So I would say I am sleeping a little better, but I think once I get another 50 pounds down, I think that will really make the difference for the sleep apnea. So,
Have you noticed a difference with the inflammation? Because it's supposed to take
mm,
away quite a bit of the inflammation.
absolutely. I think that's between the inflammation and mental health. The inflammation is reduction has been absolutely amazing. I but I also do take a magnesium supplement called Calm
Mhm.
that really helps with muscle aches and soreness and kind of like just overall achiness. But yes, absolutely. If you look at pictures of me at this weight from years ago, my face is all swollen, like my cheeks are all puffed out because I just have so much inflammation in my skin. So that, and I think really the other biggest benefit has been the mental health benefits. Not just stopping the food noise, but also just stopping kind of like self doubt and just not believing in myself. I know that I've done like of other mental health work to help that, but I think
Mhm.
it's just made me so much more positive. It's kind of almost like people talk about when they're taking like Zoloft or Wellbutrin or something like that. I've kind of had that effect from the Zepbound. Like I've gotten kind of the antidepressant and the anti-inflammation benefits from it. So,
That that's great. I know that some doctors actually prescribe the Wellbutrin along with the
mhm,
tirzepatide, stacking type of effect, for the mental health
mhm,
and to help with the weight loss. Um, so I'm glad it's working for you. Now, do you
yeah.
take supplements at all?
No, I don't because again, with the corn, I found that a lot of the supplements would cause a swelling reaction. So my corn reaction normally manifests in two ways, and one is swelling, like severely retaining water and inflammation, and then the hives and itching. So it just depends on like what level I get it. If I get enough of it, it will start causing an anaphylactic reaction. So I found that I had to stop taking supplements because they were causing a reaction. The only thing I take is potassium because I do take a diuretic. So I make sure I get my potassium in every day.
Now,
So,
did you have any other morbidities like high blood pressure, uh, cholesterol, anything like that?
so I would say that my blood pressure was only just a smidge high. It usually sat around like 130 to 140. But I do have like a weird heart thing that is managed by a beta blocker. It's not dangerous. It's just a abnormality. Like I have an excessive amount of what are called PVCs, which are
Hmm.
premature ventricular contractions. So like one part of my heart will beat just a smidge off from the other, but then over time, like if I don't take my blood pressure medication, because with my sleep apnea too causes high blood pressure, my blood pressure will start creeping up, and then it'll cause like regular heart palpitations that are just I don't know, they're like they said, like the doctor said, absolutely not dangerous, but they're very disruptive. If anybody else has ever had applications, like they make you feel terrible. Like especially if you have them like 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. So I do use the beta blocker for that, and then it lowers my blood pressure, which is great. So that helps manage that. Cholesterol, a little high. I think last time I had it tested was in January, and it was about 215 or so. So not outrageous. My A1C was about 5.4. Um, Other than that, just struggling with gallbladder. I need to get my gallbladder out. And I have 20 pounds left to go before they will allow me to get surgery. So, yeah, so I'm anxious to get this thing out of me. I've got some really giant gallstones, and in February, I had a little tiny one migrate and block a duct for a little bit.
Hmm.
So that was uncomfortable. Um, but I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to get enough weight off to get that out of my body.
And I always thought that was kind of a reason for doctors not to give you the GLP-1 medication,
Mhm.
those gallbladder issues.
Um, yeah, I mean, they were a little concerned about it, but they're like, well, like it's kind of like this kind of like quandary of between a rock and a hard place. Do we give you the GLP-1 so you can lose the weight and you can get your gallbladder out? Or do we just wait until you have a life-threatening emergency
Hmm.
and then we'd have to take your gallbladder out and then we can give you the GLP-1? So because my numbers were testing stable and because I was eating well enough that I was not having gallbladder symptoms, uh, like I had not been eating that well before January 1st, 2025, and so I was starting to have a lot of gallbladder symptoms come up. And once I got my diet under control, then they're like, okay, we feel that the risk is low enough on the GLP-1 that it would benefit you to take this and get under the weight so we can do the surgery. So I did see a gastro doctor before I started the GLP-1. So
Hmm.
I went and met with him to just check in after, like, I had the blocked duct, and I went in and talked about the symptoms with him that I experienced, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's what happened, but your liver numbers are okay, like they're on the low end of high, like they were like 1 or 2 points high." So he's like, "You're absolutely fine. It's safe to wait. Just take the medication, and then, you know, as soon as you're, at the, I think their weight limit is 250 before they'll do
Okay,
surgery, and then once you're under that, then we'll put you on the schedule and you can get it out." So
awesome. So, what kind of diets have you tried before the GLP-1 medications?
pretty much everything. I've done the Weight Watchers. Been to multiple personal trainers. You go on a cruise ship and then they talk you into doing all this wellness stuff. I've done like the zone diet. The only one that I really lost weight on was Ideal Protein. But honestly, I think that diet should not, I do not think doctors should be allowed to promote that diet for sustained weight loss. Like it was really developed for athletes to use to cut and get down to weight before sporting events and fights and things like that. So for boxers and wrestlers and people like that. But then they started using it for normal people, and I think it's dangerous. It really kind of wreaked havoc on my body to be sitting at 800 calories per day. I did that for 8 months and thought I was gonna lose my mind. This was before GLP-1, and so, the food noise is constant. I had dreams about food. It was crazy. And then, just eating only 800 calories, that is just not sustainable. So, and the fact that they were, selling all the products and, constantly promoting it, and sure, like they were seeing good effects from it, but the minute anyone went off of it, then everybody just gained the weight back. So you went through this torturous period that, did damage to people's kidneys and livers and other organs. And then at the end of it, I didn't have anything to show from it. It took about a year and I put all the weight right back on. So,
It's kind of like a vicious cycle. We all know how to
mhm,
lose the weight. It's a matter
mhm,
of maintaining it once you do
mhm,
it, which is one reason why I like the GLP-1s because, like I said, for me, no food is totally off limits. It's all
mhm.
moderation, so it's sustainable. Uh,
Yeah.
Personally, I think I'm going to be on some form of GLP-1 medication the rest of my life.
Mhm.
Have you thought about maintenance and whether you're going to stay on the medication for life or some sort form of it?
Yeah, as long as I can pay for it, it's gonna be in my body. That is all I have that's what I have to say about that because I cannot do this journey without that medication. Like, I am such a huge advocate for tirzepatide, semaglutide, and any of the medications that they're coming out with now that have been tested and are safe and effective. I'm such a huge proponent for people to be taking them and taking them for the rest of their lives. And um, I was actually on another creator's channel watching their video and, kind of said that comment like, because this person had been taking it and got to goal weight and then came off of the medication. And of course, the struggle with the food noise and everything came back. So now you're at square one, right? So the person's like, well, I guess I really need to consider like, being on maintenance for the rest of my life for this. And, of course, then the people in the comments are like, oh, well, you really need to rethink that and really think about your food. And somehow it's got to be about the food and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Y- you've obviously never experienced this battle of obesity or had the disease of obesity because you would not be saying that. Y- You know what I mean? Like,
I
you
do.
know, yeah, like I'm gonna be on this medication and it's until my dying breath, as long as I can afford it. And hopefully in, 2 to 5 years, it'll be, $5 a month or something. That's
Yeah.
really my hope.
And I know that my opinion on staying on the medication lifetime has changed because I just,
Hmm.
I'm personally, you know, who wants to be on a medication? Yeah, it's it's kind of a pain. But then as I'm
Hmm.
learning all these new off-label things that it's good for, dementia,
Hmm.
Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, liver disease, kidney disease, I'm like, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, I
so,
mean, the thing
it's
is like these drugs have been around actually for what, about 20 years?
mhm,
So so many people are worried about, oh, well, they're new drugs and you're going to take it and you're going to have these awful side effects, or 5 years from now you're going to have cancer, or you're going to have this or that. But they've already proven that there's only really been positive effects. Yeah, sure, you have the outliers, right? There's always going to be the outliers that have a negative reaction
mhm.
or had a pre-existing condition that is aggravated by the drug or just is accelerated at the same time that they're taking the drug. But yeah, there's no way I'm gonna come off this medication. You're gonna have to pry it out of my cold dead fingers. Really, because I am not a medication person, right? Like my doctor gave me the Wellbutrin to take with this, and I just haven't started it. It's been 6 months because I just don't like taking medications. It's hard enough to get me to remember to take my uh what is my diuretic. That was a real struggle for the doctor to convince me to take it and take it every day. Because I'm like, oh, well, I'm only taking it like 2 times a week and it's working great. And he's like, just take it every day. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So I started taking it every day and it's really, really been helping, right? Because, as somebody who's getting older and has a lot of weight on them, your heart doesn't work as efficiently, right? Because I've got two people that I'm supporting with one heart. And so you tend to get venous insufficiency and not being able to pull off the water out of your body, especially if you sit down all day like I do. I work 8 to 10 hours at a computer and then I go sit in my chair and work 3 or 4 more hours on YouTube. Um, so it's just a tool that I had to learn that I had to use. Same with the trizepatide. it's a tool, and I got to use it, and it's just going to be there for my life. And
Sure.
hopefully, new versions will come out and
Right.
improve even more.
Just going to bring that up. But what is your opinion of the retatrutide or forglipron, the oral Wegovy, Maritide, and all these next generation medications that are going to be out within the next 6 months to 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, so I was watching The Downsized last night. I'm sure you're familiar with
Mm-hmm.
Christopher and Lorraine,
Right. Yep.
and they were talking about the oral Wegovy, and I'm like, I didn't think they had gotten that far in the testing. But I know that, like, Noro Novodisc is, like, really money grabbing at the moment.
Right.
So I know that they're really trying to push that oral medication. I don't really care for me because I'm fine with the shots. They don't bother me at all. Um, would I like it to be cheaper? Sure. Is the oral medication going to be as effective or cheaper? Well, that remains to be seen. But I think the news on the retatrutide, the studies and results that I've seen have been pretty phenomenal. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is having that extra peptide that is really helping people. Now, I know there's a lot of people in the muscle building, what do you call them? No, wait. Uh, we call the people that do the bodybuilders in the
Bodybuilding.
bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bodybuilding community. I've been seeing some videos from them. Like, I don't know how they're getting the peptide, or if they're like kind of faking
Gray
it by
market.
get, yeah, the gray market, and the results that they're getting are really unbelievable. So I'm really, really, really excited about that one, because I think for me, for someone, I just did my average today, and I think I'm only at like 0.9 pounds per week. So while I'm not a non-responder, I'm still responding. But for Pete's
Mm-hmm.
sake, you know what I mean? Like, I have been, like, if you, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, but I really go into detail about, okay, well, here's the calories I ate for the week, and then this is the amount of calorie deficit that I ate, and this is how much pounds that should equate to, and I did this much exercise and burned this extra calories that should add to that deficit, and so this should be my, on the scale, this is what it should come up to, and it's never that. Like, it's never, like, so sometimes I've been trying to shoot for like 2 to 2.5 pounds of deficit in a week, and I'm lucky if I get one.
Yep.
I'm lucky if I'm not up 2 pounds. So,
Speaking of the downsides, there's always, Lorraine's theory, and you take away your
yeah.
allergies, but she's always
Mhm,
saying, you have to shake things up. Sometimes go out and have that
mhm,
cheeseburger and fries just to
mhm.
shake up your metabolism a little bit,
Yeah.
and then go back, the next day.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
uh,
I agree. I
that's,
totally agree with that, because so for me, because I've really, really struggled losing weight, it's always a bit of a trauma response to go off the diet at any point, because it used to be when I would go off the diet at all, like even one little thing, then it would be like 3, 4 weeks before I could lose weight again. And I'm talking like I had one serving of mac and cheese, and that cost me a month and a half of not being able to lose weight. So, when I went on vacation 2 weeks ago, like, I I was having a little bit of trauma, because I'm like, I told myself I'm not going to count calories. I'm going to put whatever food in my mouth that I want to eat, but I'm not gonna do it excessive. And the trizepatide kept me from overeating, but I still ate
mhm,
what I wanted. If I wanted dessert, I had dessert. If I wanted that hamburger or cheeseburger, I had that. Um, and then when I came back, of course, like the very day I get back, I've got this huge gain. So, but, you know, I had missed a bunch of my medication dosages. Like, I'd missed my Calm, which also, that magnesium supplement also keeps down inflammation, and you don't retain as much water. I'd missed multiple doses of my diuretic, because I didn't want to take a diuretic in the morning and then have 12 hours to travel. So yeah, so I wasn't surprised, but then the next week I had like, I went under, like I lost everything and more.
That's
So
great. That's great.
yeah, and I don't think I would have ever done that without the medication. So
Yeah,
it
that is
was,
great.
yeah, so
So,
it was
so
really
tell
surprising.
me what made you start your YouTube channel, and tell me a little bit about it.
Um, Honestly, I was looking for something. I was trying to the first thing was is to me it came down to money. Like I had kind of an emotionally rough divorce, and after separating, like I knew I was better off. Um, but I couldn't get my act together. I kind of felt abandoned, alone. I had so many relatives die. I had really tragic uh, thing happen with my brother where I had to be the person to turn off his life support. I had to sign all the paperwork and
Mm,
then tell his under 18 kids that I'm sorry, but I have to terminate your dad's life support. Like, so I got into some emotional spending. I'm an accountant, so to me, how shameful that is as an accountant that I can't keep my own personal finances in order and I can't keep myself under control. So I was trying to find a way to make money. And I'm like, well, I could do accounting on the side, but I do that all day at work and I don't want to do that as a side job. So I was like, well, what can I do? And then I'm like, well, look at all these people on YouTube. Like they're just recording videos. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. I'll give it a try. So it took me 3 months of practicing to be able to film my first video. And I actually cried because I was so terrible, Lori. I was
mm,
so bad,
uh,
like
I hear
so
you.
ridiculously bad. So I practiced for 3 months and then I finally started recording videos. Um, and then I realized that I loved it. And then I started a second channel because I joined a community of YouTube over 40 people.
Hmm.
Now, I did pay for a course to get into the community, but that was for me, that was the whole point, is I wanted access to the community. I wanted to be able to talk to people doing the same thing and be able to go on trips with them and meet with them and stuff like that. Um, so on their advice, they're like, "Well, you really need to split your cruise travel stuff from your diet stuff." So I started my diet channel, and like within 2 months, I had like 350 subscribers. So, because I just hit it hard, right? Because it's kind of easy to just talk about your life.
Hmm.
So much easier than trying to like, oh, well, I got to go on a cruise ship and I got to film this and I got to film that and I got this shot list and I got to put it together. But most of the diet stuff, it's so much easier. Pick a topic. There's thousands of topics out there. Watch other YouTubers, people in the same niche as you. And, if they have an interesting topic and it did well, then put your own spin on it and record
Hmm.
your own video. So it really started out for the money, but I'm just having a blast with it. So it's just been a lot of fun. I think it's really boosted my confidence. I've made so many friends. I don't know if you caught the live that I did with Joe from Joe's Sleep and Slim Down Journey with her and Hargerine and
Uh-huh.
JC Calamity Jane.
Right.
So I did a live with them, and that was just so much fun. So I don't know. It's just been great to find a community and just find people that enjoy doing the same thing, right? We're on the diet journey, we're on the YouTube journey. We're in this together, and it's so great to find your people. So,
It is. That's
mhm,
what really surprised me the most was the community and the support. It's
mhm,
just not, I haven't seen anything like that before.
yeah. Yeah, I have a friend that I keep trying to get to start a YouTube channel. I'm like, Seriously, like just sit down once a week and talk about your food and your weight loss and show do your weigh in and, put it up on YouTube."
And then come
People,
on my channel and be interviewed.
yeah, yeah. I know you reached out to me so long ago, and then I had a whole work thing. Like I thought I was
That's
losing my
fine.
mind. It was crazy, and so that I was so worried that that was gonna derail me too, right? Because when you get such an intense stress episode, uh, usually that's a huge trigger for me to emotionally eat. But I did well with that. Um, but that was
Okay.
really, really tough. So yeah, I haven't really stalled. I've had the like, oh, well, I gained weight for 2 weeks in a row, but then the next week, like I lost it all and I lost a couple
Mhm.
more pounds. So for me, it's a lot of like, oh, well, I bought these flour tortillas that said flour tortilla, and then I ate it, and then I read the back and it was made of flour and corn. And I'm
Mm.
like, what? So then I did that like right before a weigh-in, and so I swelled up and had hives from head to toe. And this is, you know what I mean? Like you're so desperate to lose weight, and then like it just the stupidest things get in the way. So um yeah, but it's been, I don't know, it's just been so great. I'm really enjoying YouTube and I'm so glad I did it. And I
That's
actually have a
great.
third channel that I don't advertise, and it literally is just, it's called Amy and 10, and it's literally just 10 minutes of me with random thoughts. So it's like almost unedited, like just like here's what I'm thinking about. So yeah, so I'm just like, and I've gotten, I've gotten about 100 views, which is nothing, right? But it's just that's my hobby of like, well,
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about anybody else's opinion or what my viewers think, or what the algorithm, because I don't care. It's just an outlet. so
That's
so
great.
yeah, so it's just so much fun. I got to stop creating channels though.
It's a lot more work than people think, with the all the
Mhm.
editing and stuff. It takes a bit.
Yeah.
So I kind of wrap things up by asking you what you would think, well, sorry, what you would say to someone thinking about starting a GLP-1 or somebody who just started one.
You just have to like, for someone thinking about it, uh, you just try it, right? Give it to at least 2 months and see the difference, because some people it takes a little while for the food noise to go away and the food cravings to go away. Um, and someone just starting, like, just give it time, because I know that my first couple of months were not very good. I wasn't losing like I should have been losing. And then I had other people that I knew that were like losing fantastic amounts of weight. Actually, there was this one YouTube person that I follow their channel and I chat with them, and I'm like, actually, when I first saw your channel, you were losing so much weight that I was so jealous that I couldn't watch your content, because she's a super responder, and I think has lost like 80 pounds in like 25 weeks or something, like something ridiculous. And I'm like, I couldn't watch your content. I was so jealous that
Are
you
you
were
gonna
losing
dish on
so
who it
much.
is or keep it to yourself?
I'll keep it to myself. I did reach out to
Okay.
her and actually tell her, and she actually watches my channel now. So,
Oh,
um,
that's great.
yeah, but it's like, could you imagine? Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, that would be so fantastical to, like, lose that much weight so quickly, because it's gonna take me, obviously, it's taken 9 months to lose 40 pounds, so, it could be another 9 months before I lose another 40 pounds, but I just stay the course, right?
You're losing. That's the key.
I'm losing. Right, that is the key. So for me, like, kind of my mantra is perfectionism is overrated and consistency is key. So if you can give 90% consistently, 90% is way better than, you know, not doing anything because you're trying to hit that perfectionism mark, or
Right.
giving up because you're not perf- doing it
I just did a
perfectly.
video that, being a turtle is
Mhm.
fine. You're
Yeah,
still
I watched
losing.
that.
So,
I watched that this actually, I think I watched it when I was in bed this morning. I was supposed to be getting up out of bed.
so,
But yeah,
weight
I
loss
saw
is
it
weight
pop up.
loss.
Mhm. Yeah, and I've really kind of had to find this peace within myself, and it's very hard to do for someone who's struggled for so long. So I had to find this peace of like, whatever the scale says, whatever, it's fine, whatever. I'm not going to be upset about it anymore ever again, because I know at the end of the day, the more times I get on the scale, it's gonna eventually go down, and it's gonna
Yeah.
stay down because of the medication.
And
So
you have to look at it like, what other type of lifestyle change have you done for almost 10 months now and kept
mhm,
to, and consistently lost, may not be as quick as you want, but consistently
mhm,
lost, and you feel that you could do this for a long
mhm.
time.
Yeah, and I think really having the medication helped me with, like, so, okay, I'm eating, like, a very restricted diet, but I'm gonna have to continue the majority of that in the future, but with being on the medication is gonna make it possible because I eat what I want, basically. I mean, but obviously with the food allergies, I have limits on what I can eat.
Mhm.
Um, but if I get out of control for one day, it's only one day, right? It's only, oh, well, maybe I had an extra 1,000 calories that day, but it's only 1,000 calories on that one particular day, right? So then you just have to move on and maybe start taking like an extra 50 calories or extra 100 calories out of your diet in the future, and then, oh, well, then you can go back to normal after you kind of, like, I kind of try and balance myself like that, right? If I eat a little bit more here, then I just take a little bit more away later when I'm not feeling like I need to eat extra. So, and I'm just, I learned, I actually had family in town this past Monday, so 7 days ago, and I realized that I was so happy when they left, not because I wanted them to leave, but because I could get back to eating how I'm used to eating.
Mhm.
Because I've made it such a habit after 9 months that that disruption in my eating, even though I didn't gain any weight at all while they were here, um, I kind of missed, like, my boring routine of food that I eat all of the time. So, I think it's just making it habit, doing it so long that it just becomes that is what your life is. So,
Has any of the foods, changed tastes since from before the medication to now?
yeah. I can don't have anything, like, in particular that sticks in my mind, but I can tell you, yeah, I have noticed a difference in flavor in foods. There's certain things that now that, oh, cabbage, I can't do, like, the high, like, kinda sulfury tasting foods like cauliflower or cabbage. Mm, can't stomach them at all. So before the medication, like, one of my favorite things was to take, like, thinly sliced pork and throw it in a pan with shredded cabbage, like coleslaw cabbage, and then
Mhm.
stir fry that with like a sukiyaki sauce or some type of, other Asian style sauce, and then eat that for dinner. But I can't I can't put that cabbage in my mouth anymore. So, that
So,
doesn't work on ice cream, sadly. So, but luckily,
yeah, well, hey.
yeah. Luckily, I'm allergic to milk, so, like, I can get away with a little bit of ice cream because it doesn't have as much whey as, like, skim milk or something, but, yeah, I wish it would work on on ice cream.
Any closing thoughts or anything you'd like to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just wanna thank you for bringing me on here, Lori. I've been watching your channel since, the get-go, and I'm so happy to see that you are monetized now and that, gonna start earning your dollars for the hard
Mm,
work that you put in for the community. And I've enjoyed
I
watching
do it
all the
for free,
interviews.
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But a few dollar bills here and there, are
yeah,
always nice.
YouTube doesn't
Nice
pay
to.
that well, but yeah.
I know. I know someone was kind of knocking it up, saying, "Oh, well, like if you do X, Y, or Z, like you're only going to maybe bring in $500 a month." And I'm like, you know what? That pays for my medication. Like I'm not going
Mhm.
to look a gift horse in the mouth and say, "Oh, well, it's only $500." Well, I guess our perspective is relative on how the value of $500. But yeah, I've just really enjoyed this journey, and I encourage everybody to, if you're thinking about the medication, just give it a try. And if you have any adverse reactions, make sure you just talk to your doctor. And I found that most of the reactions that I had stopped when I got off of 5. I don't know what it is, but everybody always says that they have the worst reactions when they're on 5 milligrams. And then once I got
It's the
off of
first
5,
therapeutic dose.
yeah. Yeah, so everybody's like, the sulfur burps are always so bad, on that, and, I've been lucky that I haven't had very many reactions. Mainly, I had, like, some gallbladder issues right at the same time I started taking the medication, so that kind of it kinda made me think it was the medication, but it wasn't, it was my gallbladder, and now that that is in check, I rarely have symptoms. So don't be
That's
afraid
great.
of it. Yeah, I was so afraid of I was so afraid of taking the medication. I put it off because I just, you know, I didn't want anything bad to happen. But once I started taking it, I'm done with this fighting this obesity on my own. I'm done with the food noise. I never want to hear it again. Uh,
Mhm.
so I just encourage everybody to just give it a chance.
I'm gonna kinda wrap this up with,
Okay.
I heard, an obesity doctor, um well, I always thought that overeating caused obesity, and this obesity
Mhm.
doctor said, "No, obesity causes overeating." So I kinda
Mhm.
wanna end it with that thought,
Yeah.
and thank you for your time, and sharing your story. Hopefully in 4 to 6 months, we could do a follow-up and see how you're doing on the
Yeah.
medication.
Oh, that would be great. So, yeah, because I'm getting ready to I gotta so people will see this after I do my video for my 40 pounds loss. So I'll do another I have an outfit that I've been trying to wear and take photos in. And then hopefully, maybe even by the time this comes out, I may hit 50 pounds down, which
2 to
would
2
which
to
would
3
be
weeks
great.
is usually, about how
Yeah.
long.
Well, I have 6 weeks until another vacation. I'm going on another cruise with a friend, and, my goal is to be 50 pounds down by then, and so I've got 12 pounds left to lose. So no, 10
Awesome,
pounds. As
awesome.
of this morning, it was 10 pounds left to lose, so fingers crossed.
And if you like cruises, I'm trying to talk my wife into letting us go to the downsized cruise, so hopefully we'll see you on a cruise
Oh.
like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one is happening right after I'm doing a cruise with my other YouTube community, so I'm not able to do
Nah.
that one. I didn't see that cruise until after I'd already booked. So I'm going to Rome and doing Rome, Greece, and Turkey.
Yeah, I would do
So
that before the downsized cruise.
yeah. But
Sorry,
yeah,
Lorraine and Christopher.
and unfortunately, I looked at their 2026 date, and because I'm an accountant, like the first week of the month is just like a blackout for me. So I can't get the time off. Um, unless like some miracle I have an assistant or a junior accountant in my department by then that can do my job for me while I'm gone. Who knows? Miracles
You never
happen.
know. So with that, I'm gonna call this a wrap.
Okay.